in the last days. With this in mind, let's move on to the crazy stuff. In 1986, there was a movie produced called Little Shop of Horrors. It was a rock comedy horror film about a genetically altered plant that fed on human blood. So let's take a look at this movie clip.
On the 23rd day of the month of September, in an early year of a decade not too long before our own, the human race suddenly encountered a deadly threat to its very existence. And this terrifying enemy surfaced, as such enemies often do, in the seemingly most innocent and unlikely of places.
Alright, so let's recap and take a look at what's going on here. In the beginning, there's this real creepy message about September 23rd and something coming to destroy the human race. Then, right after that, is this weird image in the sky. I want to focus on that image for a moment. If you look closely, there appears to be a female figure in this image. And I'm going to kind of outline it for you right here. If we take a look, just right in this area here, it appears to be, well, to me, a female image. So I Googled images of the constellation Virgo and found the artist's impression of Virgo that would have been around in 1986 and found this picture. Rotating the image, I found that it fit into this frame of the film. Okay, you may say that's a stretch, and I would probably agree if it weren't for the fact that the Revelation 12 prophecy, as presumed by many, will be fulfilled on September 23rd of this year. There's a lot more to go over, but before we leave this particular point, I want you to take a look at the face area of this frame. That is one creepy looking face, and it is awfully coincidental. Alright, let's take a look at the next creepy thing. Near the end of the intro song and dance, we see the shop owner reading a newspaper. No big deal, right? Except the headline is bizarre. It reads, "Unexpected Total Eclipse." There are no such things as an unexpected eclipse. NASA tells us exactly when and where they will occur. Even the ancient astronomers knew when to expect an eclipse. Now, if you are a student of the Bible, you know there was an eclipse during the crucifixion of our Lord Jesus, and it lasted for 3 hours. Not only does the Bible speak of it, but 3 other secular writers confirm it. Now, this is very bizarre because the moon cannot create a 3-hour eclipse. It is only capable of eclipsing the sun for 7 minutes. The moon must be between the earth and the sun to do so. Now, the Lord was crucified on Passover. Passover starts on the evening of the 14th day of the month of Nisan on the Hebrew calendar. The Hebrew calendar is a lunar-based calendar. The first day of each Hebrew month is a new moon, and the 14th to the 15th is always a full moon. So there was a lunar blood moon eclipse on the evening Christ was crucified. That means there is no possible way that the moon could have eclipsed the sun. In order for there to be a 3-hour-long eclipse of the sun, some other large planet-like object would have had to have moved in between the sun and the earth, and it would have had to have been very large. What could do that? Well, how about the so-called Planet X, or Nibiru as it's known as? Okay, did I just lose you right there? Well, guess what? Back in 1983, NASA posted an article in the Washington Post that they had discovered something out there that was approximately the size of Jupiter. It was so cold that it did not reflect light. No light was emitted from it, and it was shrouded in dust. Well, this is on an elliptical orbit, and it certainly could have produced a 3-hour-long eclipse during the time of the crucifixion. So the newspaper headline is rather odd to say the least, but what is even more creepy is the time it occurs in the movie. When I reviewed the original recording, I found the newspaper scene happened at the 3-minute and 29-second mark. If you read them backwards, you get 9/23, or September 23rd. Now let's look at the second headline in black. Now this isn't actually a headline, it's supposed to be an ad. And what does the ad say? Well, if we look closely, we can make it out. It says, "We can make you feel at home across America and in Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia." So who or what can make us feel at home across America? Well, their logo is right here in the corner. It's a bull, and it's the logo of Merrill Lynch. Now, the logo of Merrill Lynch being the bull is also a symbol of what? Wall Street and the American economy. So this ad is saying that we here in America should feel safe and secure right at home with the strength of our money and the American economy. So does this bull of Wall Street remind you of anything biblically? Well, if you look at it, it certainly looks like a golden calf. And what was the golden calf? It was an idol that was made by Aaron and the Israelites while Moses was up on Mount Sinai retrieving the 10 Commandments. Since everything in this video revolves around September 23rd or the numbers 923, I decided to go back and look into the Bible at the time of the Exodus, the first few books of the Bible. Here we have in Exodus 9:23, "So Moses lifted his staff towards the sky, and the Lord sent thunder and hail, and lightning flashed towards the earth, and the Lord sent a tremendous hailstorm against all the land." Leviticus 9:23b, "Then the glory of the Lord appeared to all the people." Numbers 9:21 and 23, "The cloud remained only from evening until morning. When the cloud was taken up in the morning, then they would journey. At the command of the Lord, they journeyed." And Deuteronomy 9:21 through 23, "Then I, God, took your sin, the calf which you had made, and burnt it with fire, and crushed it, and ground it very small, until it was as fine as dust. And I threw its dust into the brook that descended from the mountain. Also, you provoked the Lord to wrath. Then you rebelled against the commandment of the Lord your God, and you did not believe him, nor obey his voice."
We have something truly intriguing to discuss, the Russian dead hand system. Have you ever heard of it? Well, get ready to dive into the mysterious world of Cold War-era doomsday devices. The Russian dead hand system, also known as Perimeter, is a highly secretive and controversial nuclear weapons control system. It was developed during the height of the Cold War by the Soviet Union as a means of ensuring their nuclear retaliation capabilities even in the event of a devastating preemptive strike. The system was designed to function as an automatic nuclear weapons release system, activated only if certain conditions were met. It was built with the purpose of guaranteeing a swift and devastating response from the Soviet Union, even if their leadership was incapacitated or unable to issue orders. Here's how the dead hand system works. In the event of a major nuclear attack on Russia, the system's sensors would detect the electromagnetic pulse, EMP, generated by a nuclear explosion. This EMP would signify the beginning of a devastating attack. Once the EMP is detected, the dead hand system begins its countdown sequence. During this countdown, a series of complex algorithms and checks are performed to verify the authenticity of the attack. These checks include analyzing seismic activity, radiation levels, and communication disruptions. If the system determines that a nuclear attack is genuine and not a false alarm, it moves to the next phase. The dead hand system then sends launch orders to various missile silos and submarines, instructing them to launch their nuclear missiles towards predetermined targets. It's important to note that the dead hand system operates entirely autonomously, without any human intervention. Its purpose is to ensure a massive and devastating retaliation in the event of a catastrophic attack that leaves Russia's leadership incapacitated or unable to respond. The Russian dead hand system is shrouded in secrecy, and there's still much speculation and debate surrounding its current status and capabilities. While some experts believe it's still active and operational, others argue that it may have been deactivated or replaced with more modern systems. The idea of a doomsday device like the dead hand system raises ethical and moral questions. Its very existence highlights the destructive power of nuclear weapons and the lengths nations have gone to ensure their survival during the Cold War. So, what are your thoughts on the Russian dead hand system? Do you believe it's still active, or has it become obsolete in today's world? Let us know in the comments below.
There are over 550 million firearms in worldwide circulation. That's one firearm for every 12 people on the planet. The only question is, how do we arm the other 11? Selling guns is like selling vacuum cleaners. You make calls, pound the pavement. I supplied every army but the Salvation Army.
Can you bring me the gun of Rambo?
Part 1, 2, or 3.
I've only seen part 1.
By the mid-'80s, my weapons were represented in 8 of the world's top 10 war zones.
Damn, you are good. You get rich by giving the poorest people on the planet the means to continue killing each other. Guys!
Say what you like about warlords and dictators, they always pay their bills on time.
I would tell you to go to hell, but I think you're already there.
This is your plane?
I'm in transport.
That's what I want.
She doesn't know how you pay for all this.
We don't talk about it. How many car salesmen talk about their work? I'm not saying I didn't have setbacks.
There are men going through our garbage cans. Is there anything I should be worried about?
No, nothing. The first and most important rule of gun running is never get shot with your own merchandise.
Is everything okay?
Rough day at the office.
We're the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms.
Let me guess, this isn't about the alcohol or the tobacco. Where there's a will, there's a weapon.
You know, they call me the Lord of War, but perhaps it is you.
It's Warlord.
Thank you, but I prefer it my way.
Is this how you want to be remembered?
I don't want to be remembered at all.